Hey, everybody. Thanks again for joining us for another edition of Flex and Fiber, where we lift and we eat plants, right, Leslie?
Yes.
So today I am very, very excited to be speaking about the generational gap. And we've mentioned before, we're going to go into our myth buster. I'm not going to forget this time. But we spoke about before that I am of a certain age and Leslie is of a certain age. And we're both two separate generations. I'm Gen X, I'm 50. So I was born in that Gen X range. I don't know exactly what it is. I should have looked it up, but I didn't. And Leslie you're 32, 33.
33. Yeah, I'm a millennial.
And you're a millennial.
Yeah.
So we're about 20 years apart, maybe a little, it's 18. We're 17, 18 years apart. So there's definitely a generational gap. And we want to discuss that in regards to nutrition, fitness, and healthy aging. And Leslie, I'm so excited to talk about that. But first, we're going to talk about the Mythbuster. You want to introduce the Mythbuster?
Yes. So our Mythbuster today is going to be soy gives you man boobs and causes cancer. And I think we've all heard that. There are a lot of myths regarding soybeans. A lot of times people won't even drink soy milk anymore because it was like when I was growing up, soy just was demonized, and now I feel like it still has a bad rep. And we both know a ton of vegan athletes and just vegans in general that are able to manage their weight, and they don't have man boobs. So that's a whole separate thing. And a lot of times the quote unquote man boobs are caused by just gaining weight in general. Not, you don't see like men that are skinny that have man boobs.
It's not a thing.
Not a thing. Like, it's literally not a thing. So we're not seeing that. And then as far as it causing cancer, there have been a lot of studies that have actually proven that soybeans are very good to prevent cancer. And we'll get into that later in the show. But that is definitely false. And obviously we want to use organic soy products, our tofu, our soy milk, our tempeh, all of those things. But we definitely are not seeing negative effects, especially cancer causing and, man boobs, because if that was the case, I think I would have a little bit of a bigger chest right now because I eat soy almost every day. So
Leslie, you're not the only one. I tell people, like, I am such a poster child for soy. Anything that's made by soy, I'm like, yes, please. Like,
yeah.
And we would need doctors would be saying, could you just stop, because they're not coming to us for breast augmentation anymore. Like, they're just eating and drinking soy. But so thanks for that. And I wanted to make another point. If you ever come across a man with man boobs and you are bold enough and you have the balls enough to go and ask him what he eats, best believe he's going to say lots of cheese, ice cream, milk, and he's probably meat. And you will not hear a peep out of him saying anything about any type of soy products. I promise you. And I challenge you too, if you do come across the guy with man boobs and he says that all he eats is soy, you please just comment here, call us, reach us. Our email address is attached to this. Just let us know, because I would really like to know. But before we continue and talk about our topic, Leslie, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to introduce. Sorry. I introduced the show, Flex and Fiber. Right. So Leslie, tell the good people who you are.
I am Coach Leslie, and I'm a performance and nutrition coach at a local gym here in Pittsburgh called Global Human Performance. An online coach. I also am a marathon runner, a CrossFit athlete, and a pro bikini bodybuilder.
Yay. And I'm in the New York City area. And what I do is I was working with individuals really guiding them on how to adapt a whole food, plant-based, and fit lifestyle in order to manage their sugar cravings. I take that word back. In order to get rid of and quiet sugar cravings, as well as reverse chronic conditions, primarily prediabetes and diabetes. And I'm currently transitioning over to the corporate world. So I'm working with teams and I'm working with employees and staff and clinicians so that they can support their team and their leaders, their organizations, by employing me to teach them about nutrition via plant-based, right? And being sugar-free. And it's not sexy at all, but it can be, because on the other side of those sugar cravings, on the other side of them not coming to the workforce full of focus, energy, and not ill, it's very sexy on that side once they get a handle of their health. So that's what I'm transitioning to. So this is the first time I'm saying that in public. So I'm excited about that.
Proud of you.
Thank you. It's definitely it's definitely interesting to learn a different aspect of the people who need the information that we have, Leslie. It's so important. So let's talk about this generational gap. Leslie, I'm going to just go ahead and start, and then you, and in fact, if you have any questions, if you want to chime in, just go ahead, please do. So I was going to start with a quick story. I was going to start with a story that escapes me now, to be quite honest with you. But I feel like in this life, we are taught that aging is bad, or aging, nobody wants to age. I remember saying something about what I want, how I see myself in another 20 years. And somebody commented on my YouTube saying, oh, I do not want to live that age, because the cost of living and the cost of medications will be too high. And I think that's where the problem lies, right? Because we associate aging with unhealthy aging. But you and I are here to promote healthy aging. And it actually starts, Leslie, with your generation, or I should say within your age.
Yeah.
And unbeknownst to me, 19 years ago, I was in a pretty serious car accident. And then during the healing process, I was sedentary for about 10 years. I wasn't doing anything but eating and trying to stay healthy. No, I take that back. Trying to stay skinny. And I'm going to use that word skinny. I usually don't. I say slim or lean, but no, my focus was, I need to lose weight. But I wasn't doing anything about it. I was eating all the junk because I didn't know what good food was. And I wasn't exercising because I didn't think that I really needed it. I felt like as long as I don't eat, or as long as I eat the least amount of calories, I'll be okay. So I'm going to say that car accident saved my life. I ended up in the hospital for about 5 days and out of work for 3 months because I broke bones. But I got to tell you, I feel like it saved my life, because healing, now I say 19 years ago, I was about 32 years old. So Leslie, I was right around your age. And in healing, I started wanting to make myself stronger and wanting to make myself healthier. That's when I discovered the dumbbell. And it's been in its history ever since. And in making myself stronger and just actually reaching out for those, at the time, I thought it was vanity. I was just like, I want to be strong. I want to look strong. I wanted to be slimmer. Yes. And as I slimmed down, I just kind of tapped on another goal to it. I said, now I want to look strong. When I made myself strong and I started to look strong, I said, now I want the cuts in my arms, right? So I just took it incrementally. Then I got the cuts in my arms. So I'm like, now I want to compete. Now I want to run. Now I want to do this. And that's basically literally how it started. So you don't have to love everything about fitness, but just take it a step at a time. I'm talking to you 30-year-olds. This is where we start. And I'm going to tell you why. In our mid-30s, some of us, not all of us, will start to experience changes in our bodies. Ladies, that is called perimenopause. Now, there's a few stages to the menopause lifespan, I guess you could say. There's premenopause, and premenopause is anything before it's childbearing age, premenopause. Perimenopause is about the 35 years age to about 50. Menopause is when you have not had a period for one complete year on the calendar, and that day is menopause. You are diagnosed as being in menopause. Everything after that day is postmenopause, right? So I say that to say that around 35, that's when our bodies start to change significantly, and we don't understand why things are happening. And what the simple definition of that is that estrogen is starting to leave our bodies. Estrogen is the main driving force in everything that we do. Estrogen helps us build muscle, retain muscle, build new muscle. Energy helps us sleep. It helps us move. It helps us think. It helps us focus. It's our bestie. You know, we cannot do life without estrogen. But at about 35 to 40, estrogen starts saying, I think I'm out. I think I'm just going to go find a new bestie, or I'm just done. Like, good luck. See you around. It's been real. Peace. And you're kind of like, I need you. So now it's time for us to start training the body to do or to take over what estrogen used to do for us. Help us build muscle, maintain muscle, sleep, focus, all the things. And we can do it. Just because estrogen is out the door does not mean that life has to go downhill. Just because we're getting older does not mean we have to stop living, ladies, that things start to fall apart. That's just a narrative that they've fed to us that we've adopted and said, yeah, that's true. And it's so not true. So around 32, when I really started getting into my training, I didn't know that at the time. I only recently found that out, like within the last year. I'm like, oh, shit. I did good, and I didn't even know I was on that track. But so many people don't know. And so many people feel like, oh, if I just watch my calories and exercise before the wedding, before the vacation, before the special event, I'll do exactly what I did when I was 20 years old. No. It doesn't work that way. So nutrition definitely plays a role in that. Exercise is so important and paramount, because what happens during menopause is that we start to lose bone mass and we start to lose muscle mass. And if we do not take intentional steps of retaining and building, we will lose it. And so, yeah, by the time we're 50 and 60, absolutely, we'll be that little old lady that everybody said that we were supposed to be. But I'm 51 years old, and I have no intention of looking like that little old lady who they told me that I'm supposed to be in another 10 years or 15 years. That's not going to happen. Why? Because I know the secret. The secret is maintaining bone, maintaining muscle mass. How do I do that? By eating properly and lifting and exercising, and making sure that I'm giving my bones impact by doing my HIIT trainings, by doing my HIIT trainings, by running, and also building, lifting. So important. And again, you don't have to love it to be able to maintain this lifestyle. You could do the bare minimum, and the bare minimum might be a lot less than you actually think. So I just wanted to throw that out at you so that we understand the importance of maintaining a healthy lifestyle as we get older. Now, for those of you who are not in your 30s and you're like, well, Carmelle, thanks. I could have really used this information 20 years ago when I was 30. Guys, it's not too late. Ladies, it's not too late. You can start today and make a huge difference. I'm working with a client right now, and I'm helping her build muscle. She's 64 years old, and she had a bone density scan a few months ago, and they told her it's bad. It's bad. So she and I have been working heavy, and for the first time in her life, she's lifting weight, and she was just like, I can't do this. And she says it's a little disheartening because she can't do not even one knee push-up. And she's been really trying at it for like the last 6 months. I said, you have to give yourself some grace. You've never asked your body to do this type of work before. Now, all of a sudden, you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself. I said, the fact that you're even trying is helping. She is building muscle. We are working as heavy as we can. We're taking it step by step. I would never ask somebody to do like a squat with maybe 60-pound dumbbells. I would never do that. That's just silly. So we're starting slow. And as soon as I feel like she can handle it, I give her more weight. I give her more weight. I give her more weight. And she's actually looking forward to her bone density scan in February. I'll keep you guys updated. But I'm going to jump off of this mic, Leslie, and I'm going to say, for all those of you who are millennials and you're listening to Leslie and myself, please take heed. Even if you put it in your back pocket and you don't do anything with it now, I feel like it's important for us to have dropped these seeds. So go ahead, Leslie.
Yeah, no, that was great. It just shows how passionate you are about this. I think the good thing is that we have two completely different stories on it, and but we kind of both came to the same like point, just at different times in our lives, and we came to the same conclusion of like, this is so important. I grew up a gym rat. I've always been in the gym. I've always been just like running around playing sports. Ever since I was like, even in like preschool, I was like wrestling little boys. Like I just have always loved everything fitness. But and actually even now, I think after college, I was kind of like, you see your college friends and like other college athletes, 10 years. So I've been out of college for over 10 years now, but you see there's such a difference between like some of the people and the others. Like we were all college athletes, like we were all fit, thin, strong, whatever. But it's just like the people that maintain it, it's just so different. And even just like how they look as far as age wise, like there's people that were at my high school graduation, even that I felt as though didn't look the same age as I did. And this is when it really matters. Like Carmelle was saying, like when you're in your 30s, like this is when it really starts to actually like, this is kind of the direction you're going to go. So you're in your 30s and you're working out, doing all the good things, and you're going to take one path as you get into your upper 30s and into your 40s and beyond, or you don't take care of yourself and you're going to go that other direction of like, diseases and medications and all of this
muscle loss and bone loss.
Right, exactly. And I'm very like stern and strict on the fact that you need to strength train. Like there's no getting around it. I know people love to do Zumba and dance
cardio
and move. Everyone's like, we need to just move and do what we like. And that's cool, but you have to put load on your body. Like you said, your client, you have to put load on your muscles. You can't just do body weight stuff and run and do all that stuff, because like you're not going to build muscle and you're not going to put pressure on your bones and on your body. You have to do that.
And your joints.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
It's so important.
So important. You have to, the lame cliche saying that's pressure makes diamonds, and literally that's it. I mean, you have to put pressure on your body. And I train, 60, 70-year-old individuals as well. And like we train a lot of single leg. We train a lot of like directional lateral movement, and also just getting off the ground, like like those push-ups for your client are so good, and they're so imperative because 5-10 years from now, whatever, if she falls, she can get up. Do a push-up, you literally can't get off the floor. Then what? You're gonna be stuck on the floor. And now, what is it, geriatrics or whatever is that, the whatever you're 35, like women now that are 35, now that's considered a high risk pregnancy.
Oh yeah. It's
30,
considered a geriatric pregnancy.
yeah, and it's
In
like
your 30s.
35,
35.
and that's crazy.
It's
Like, it
crazy.
doesn't seem old at all, but like now, and we're also in this like infertility crisis that nobody talks about, and that is from how we take care of ourselves and what we expose ourselves to. So like, it starts now. Like, a lot of we always used to talk about men having erectile dysfunction. This is our version of that.
Yeah.
So, and it starts like now, and even earlier than that. So like, we have to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do now, because if we can do it now, like, let's do it now. Obviously, like, if you're just getting in the know and you're in your 40s, in your 50s, 60s, whatever, like, that's one thing. But if you know better, you gotta do it.
You gotta do it.
Gotta do it. And that's with all full circle. So nutrition, eating right, strength training. It's all going to add up to what your 40s are like and what your 50s are like and 60s. Like, I still want to be moving and playing sports whenever I'm in my 70s. Like, I still want to be running and doing all of that stuff. Like, I want to be that, elderly person. I don't even like saying elderly, because elderly sounds frail, but
Right.
I want to be that older person that is still participating in things.
Life.
In life. Like, I plan to live over 100. I want to see the next decade.
Yeah.
Or not decade. Not decade. Century. So I really, like, everyone's like, oh yeah, I don't want to live that long, because like I feel like my quality of life will be so bad. I'm like, I don't see my quality of life being that bad, actually.
And Leslie, now there's so many people that are highlighted on TV or on across social media platforms that are older. And so you said the word elderly, right? And elderly does have this very frail connotation. Like, somebody's walking around with a cane, they need help crossing the street, all the things,
Right.
They can't even look up because they're so hunched over. So we'll be the elders. It has such a different ring to it. Elder sounds like somebody who lived life, who has experience, who has stories to tell and to teach, right? But so to your point, we want to be able to live life. And the people who are like, I don't want to live till I'm that old, because the only examples they had in their lives were their family members and older people that they know and love, whose quality of life diminished very, very early. And my mother spent the last 15 years of her life in a shell.
Yeah.
She had dementia, Alzheimer's, and my father was also diagnosed. He actually passed away tragically before the disease actually ravaged him. But Leslie, when I was thinking about this conversation between you and I today, I was thinking about our examples, because I was also listening to two podcasts hosts discussing their parents.
Mm-hmm.
Both of these women were in their 60s. They were both in their 60s. They were talking about their parents who are alive and well.
Yeah.
I can't say that that's anybody in even my generation, in my family. All of our parents are gone.
Yeah.
You too.
Yeah. It's crazy. And like, I think that kind of motivates us more, because we aren't accepting that. Like, we could have been like, yeah, like, I don't want to live that long, because like, I don't think that's possible. But like, we know that that's possible, and we're trying to do everything in our power to make that possible, because our parents didn't get to see, my parents didn't even get to see 75. Yeah. So, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even consider 75 like super old.
It's not.
And I'm like, yeah, like, I want to live 20 plus years after that.
Exactly.
So,
do you know Chef Babette?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Chef Babette, she's 70, she's around 73, 74 years old. She's still doing push-ups. She looks amazing.
Yeah.
Her skin looks great. Her attitude, she's a beast at the gym.
Yeah.
And I feel, Leslie, tell me if I'm wrong. I feel like when I started working out, the stronger I felt like I was getting, and I didn't go to a gym to work out. I was literally working out in my living room. But
Mm-hmm.
the stronger I got, the more exciting it was.
Yeah,
I was like,
it's
I
so
want to get stronger.
yeah,
I want to take another trip out to Dick's Sporting Goods and get more weights. Like
yeah,
those became my goals. Like
yeah,
I said, I was like, oh, I'm strong now. Now I want the cuts. I got the cuts now. Now I want to do this. And so
yeah.
we keep laying goals on top of goals. So I say this to all of you who are like, I hate working out. And I'm going to say you just haven't found the workout that you love.
Yeah, and this is probably gonna not sound great either, but they're the people that say that too are probably people that aren't in love with their bodies, you know, and like they, as women, like we have so much pressure to have a certain body,
Yeah.
but obviously there are little things that we all don't like about our body, but I I'm pretty obsessed with my body. And
I
I,
love that.
because I built this body, you know what I mean? It wasn't just like, this is the body I have because I don't do anything. Like, I have built this body over years and decades of consistent hard work. And a lot of people cannot say that. And that's a flex that is like, it's unmatched.
Yeah. 100%. And I love that you said that. And thank you for saying that you built it, right? Because some people think that we have this predisposition. Oh, well, you come from slimmer parents, or,
Yeah.
oh, you come from a family that looks like XYZ. And I come from a family of heavy women.
Me too.
And right. Okay. There you go. Right. And I remember being told by one of my uncles, now he was an arrogant man. And he says, oh, you don't think you're going to look like them and he's referring to my mom and her sisters.
Yeah.
And he's just like, oh, no, no, no. That's exactly what you're going to look like. And I remember in my head, and maybe he's the reason why I look the way I do right now, Leslie. But in my head, like the defiant girl in me, how dare you speak to me like that? That's not going to be me. I think I just put that in the back of my head because it was like a revelation. It came to me like 2 years ago. I'm like, oh, I remember when he said that to me. And I feel like
Yeah.
he fueled that. But I just say that to say that, yes, Leslie and I, we don't look like this by accident. When people say, oh my gosh, you look fantastic, it's not by accident. I didn't wake up like this.
Yeah. It's suffering.
How about that?
It's literally hard to maintain. It's not easy.
It's not easy. But guess what? We love it and we want it more than the alternative. And the alternative is broken down bones, no muscle mass, chronic conditions, chronic fatigue, chronic joint pain. And no. I'd rather put myself through some kind of torture
Yeah.
for about an hour or 2 hours a day than have my body put me through torture because I'm not taking care of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I have a very similar situation where I thought that I was just destined to have my mom's body. And growing up, she was always overweight and she was, on Weight Watchers and all that stuff. And diabetes was rampant in my family as well. So I literally thought that I was just destined to be overweight and have diabetes. Like, I had no doubt in my mind, and I was terrified about that. And I was like, but I also felt helpless. I was like, there's nothing I can do. I'm just going to be overweight and have diabetes.
Yeah.
And that's that. And when I learned that I didn't have to have that fate, I was like, wow, how much freedom and power is that? It's so powerful to know that this isn't my destiny. It doesn't have to be my destiny. It could, but I have control over that.
Yeah. We have total control.
Yeah.
Leslie, I'm curious, do you work with any clients? I'm sure you do, that are my age.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And how is their attitude and their perception of the way they look, how strong they are, or what life hands them or has handed to them? Can you speak to that a little bit?
I feel as though they struggle with kind of the same inevitable things, but I do think that they feel empowered
They do.
to take control of their body and their destiny and their health. We're
Yeah.
running a nutrition challenge right now, and it's actually a lot more men this time around,
Mhm.
and they're so like locked in and focused, and it's just so nice to see. And a lot of our members are, you know, between, I would say, are closer to 40 to like late 50s.
Mhm.
So yeah, I train a ton of them, and they all I think feel empowered, at least.
That's so refreshing for me to hear. That's so good. That's so good. And guys, I'm just gonna round it out. Leslie, if you want to add anything else to that before we move on, I'm just gonna say that so the generational gap between the 30s and the 50s, those are such crucial years. And if you haven't started thinking about how healthily you want to age, these are the years that we really want to start thinking about that and really taking action. And if you don't know where to start, just start by picking up a dumbbell. Just start by maybe going and signing up to the local YMCA or local gym. Just start by joining a community of maybe walkers, and just start getting yourself into that mindset and in a community where this is important to them as well, because these are crucial. What we do today will literally impact how we age.
Yeah.
Do you want
Period.
to add anything?
No,
Period.
it's
End of
great.
story. Well, that was so good. So our next segment, of course, is the food the food of the week, right?
Yeah.
Our chosen food. And we're going to talk about soybeans. Now, we started out by talking about the myth that, so since we already established that that is a myth and men are not going to grow man boobs with soy, we're going to talk to you ladies about soy. Leslie and I are both like children of soy. We consume so much of it. Soy is so much a part of my life, between soy milk and edamame and tofu and tempeh, TVP, all kinds of products. It should also, soybeans are also a part of my regimen. And I'm going to tell you why. But before, you know what I learned, Leslie? Like, soy is one of the most important foods globally.
Yeah.
Number one, soy is fed to the animals that feed
Yeah.
people. Mhm. Soy feeds us. And soy is in so many different types of products, even foods that are not necessarily plant-based or necessarily vegan. So soy, even if you think you're not consuming soy, you might be. You just
Yeah.
might be, because of the foods and whatever. But it's such an amazing food. First of all, high in protein, antioxidants, vitamins, fiber, all the things that we would accept from a legume. Soy is a legume. It is in the plant, in the bean family. It's soybeans or soybeans. And the difference between edamame and soybeans is that edamame are baby soybeans. And the soybeans, which are really white in color, they look like cannellini beans.
Mhm.
They're the full grown bean. And I remember listening to a podcast where a doctor said, eat soybeans, and soybeans, one of the ingredients of soybeans is this isoflavins, and that is it mimics estrogen in our bodies. And I feel like that's why, Leslie, some people think that this is what enhances man boobs,
Mhm.
but it's not enough to develop boobs in a man or a woman, for that matter. It's not enough, but it is enough in a woman's body to mimic the effects of estrogen. Now, I did tell you that when we go through menopause, it's estrogen leaving our body. And so one of the big benefits to soybeans is the fact that it can help reduce hot flushes or hot flashes. And although the research, the jury's not completely in on that. Some people say yay, some people say nay. All I know is that I took it and I ran with it. first thing I did was tell my clients, and nobody really seemed to have much success. And then I started getting hot flushes, and I'm like, let me try this, right? And I tried it. Leslie, within 2 days, no more hot flushes. And then I had somebody that told me, Carmelle, tell me exactly what you're doing. And I said, I literally have it every day. And I'm not talking about a big bowl of it either. I'm talking about maybe an ounce of it. I'll throw it in my smoothies. I actually like the taste of it. Somebody said, oh yeah. Oh, I got a comment on one of my YouTube saying, yes, it helped me too for my hot flushes, but I hate the taste of it. So I threw it in my smoothies. I actually like the taste of it. So I would have it with my meals. Today, actually, I threw it in my smoothie. You could have it all kinds of ways. You can make it into a cream sauce because of the white texture of it. You could have it a bunch of ways. And it's the soybean, not necessarily any of the other soy products that would help. And so when I talked to some of my clients who tried it and it didn't work for them, they were not eating it consistently, right? They were having maybe way too little of it.
Yeah.
And they were thinking that edamame would cut it, and edamame doesn't cut it because it doesn't have enough of the nutrients that help it work. So it reduces the hot flushes. Not only that, soybeans is a really good heart healthy food. So it can actually lower heart disease. Now, if anybody knows, heart disease is the number one killer of women in the menopause age. Point blank simple. People talk about heart attacks and cancer. Heart disease kills more people than breast cancer and prostate cancer combined. Wow. So that's something that we should definitely be looking at and thinking about. So even if you're not getting hot flushes or hot flashes, maybe it's a good idea to start rotating some soybeans into your nutritional regimen. So anything do you have to say about soybeans?
I don't really eat soybeans very often, honestly. But I feel like now I should start making them in my regular diet because I do a lot of soy in general. But yeah, I definitely think that I need to start incorporating more soybeans. Obviously love edamame, love soy products like we talked about. But yeah, I've read a lot of research myself on just like how well it helps with menopause and hot flashes. And yeah, there's been a lot of research, and they always tie it into what is that podcast, the exam, is it
the exam room? Yes.
Every October they bring in a doctor, and she talks about that because they talk about how it really helps with breast cancer as well, and just like, cancer. So it's, again, going right against our mythbuster too about the cancer causing. And they have studies that have shown that it helps with cancer and hot flashes. So it's really a superfood. But again, people are so afraid of soy in general that they just stay away from it.
Yeah, they stay away from it. I don't even think you can really find it on supermarket shelves along with all the other beans. Like I have not found it. Every time I get soybeans, I make a lot of my own beans. So I'll soak them, I'll cook them. For me, it's not a big deal. People say, oh, it's too much, it's too time consuming. It really isn't. You let them soak for about 8 hours. You don't have to watch it soak. I promise you.
Just overnight.
Just overnight. And then the next day you throw it on the fire and you cook it for some time, depending on what the instructions say. But I say that to say, if you like Amazon, I know some people don't like shopping on Amazon, but you can find canned soybeans. Otherwise you have to cook them. And they're a little laborious to actually cook simply because they have these husks that when you cook, the husks like separate, and you literally have to kind of like scoop them out. And that becomes
But with a lot of beans, beans, like yourself from a dry bean, a lot of beans are like that.
A lot of beans, you're 100% right. Even chickpeas do that. Right. But so it depends on what your level is. I like to cook my beans. I really, really do. And I'm able to keep the actual cooking liquid as broth, and that helps flavor my other foods and gives me more nutrients in my food. So how can I go wrong? So anyway, we would love to challenge you go get yourself a can of soybeans or order dry beans and cook them and let us know if you tried them and if you love them and if it helped alleviate your hot flushes. Now, full transparency, when I said that it reduced my hot flushes in like 2 or 3 days, that was because I had already been taking it. I stopped at one time during my training because it was no longer in my in my meal plan. And so when I started getting the hot flushes, I called up my coach and I was like, can we put soybeans back into my regimen because I'm having hot flushes and these are not like, why do I have to tolerate them if I don't have to tolerate them? Yeah. And she was like, okay. And she worked it back into my meal plan. And within 2 days, it was gone. So it was something that I had been doing and that was in my system. When I stopped it, it took a little while to come back. It took like 2 or 3 weeks. And when it came back, I was like, oh, no. I can't deal with this. So give it some time, but you have to be consistent with it. So let us know if it works. So that's it. I think we're going to close out. We're going to close out by saying thanks for joining us. Thank you for listening. Thank you for participating. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. And thank you for sharing this out with the people that you know would be interested in what this millennial and this Gen X has to talk about.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Oops.